like you're going to get a different color.
Black and a white,
So you're going to know that one's reversed. You know that one's wrong. You move the label there and you swap the other two because they're all incorrect, right?
It says the buckets are labeled wrong. Are they all wrong?
Maybe they're labeled pink. All three of them say pink.
Yeah, wait, are they all,
What? Maybe they're just not labeled. That wouldn't be really labeled wrong.
Like...
No, that's a key thing, though, is you have to know that they're labeled wrong.
Yeah, I think it's...
So they all have to have labels. I bet it's 2.
Well,
yeah, because you pull
right.
from the one that says mixed.
Right? Oh, yeah, because you know what they are.
Right now.
You know
you
mixed
pull from
is,
the one
is
that
not
says black.
mixed. So whatever it gets. So if you pull a white one out of the mixed, you know that's the white bucket. If you pull a black one out, you know it's the black bucket.
Okay.
And then you swap the black
you
label
go for
that.
then you go for whichever
and then you
one
swap the
you
other
pull
two
out.
You only have to pull one. Right? So if you pull one out of the mixed thing, you know what color that is. You put the white label onto that. Of the other two, like one of them is going to say black. You put that on the one that you took the white label off of.
One. Let's see if we can get it down to 0.
Okay.
You take the mixed label off because you know that's a solid color.
Yeah.
No, I can't do it.
And then, like 2/3 of the time,
it's 50-50 because you have 2 buckets. Sorry, buddy. But it actually is 50-50. I'm pretty sure. If you just guess.
is it
Oh,
one?
you got it. Brian got it.
It's 3.
There's 1.
Oh, it is 1?
Mm-hmm.
See that like blue line in between the things?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this was one that I heard on Car Talk. I'm going to try to tell this right. Hopefully I can do it. Okay, so this is a weird kind of complicated one. I remember the solution though. So, all right. It's like 15 guys are put into a prison.
Uh-huh.
And the warden comes in and tells them, you have 5 minutes to discuss it amongst yourself before I go and put you into your separate cells. I'm going to tell you this, is that I'm going to, every month I'm going to select one of you at random and let you go into this room. And in this room, there are 2 switches. You have to switch one. You have to switch one and then leave.
This is some kind of crazy prison.
Yeah, it's obviously. There's also a crazy marble bucket that's hidden and labeled wrong.
I keep mislabeled marble buckets in my apartment.
For security.
So okay, you have to. We're gonna pick one of you at random and flip one, and you have to flip a switch once.
Hey, Kentaro the Brave, awesome.
If you can tell me correctly when every single one of you has flipped a switch, has been to the room, I will let all of you go. But if you tell me that you have all flipped the switch before you've all flipped the switch,
there's only one switch or 2 switches?
There's 2 switches. There's 2 switches. Then I keep you forever. So you have a minute to discuss it amongst yourself, and then I'm going to put you into separate cells, and you never see each other again until I let you go. You're not allowed to discuss it after this first 5 minutes.
How many are there?
How many people?
How many people?
Yeah.
15. And they have as much time as it takes. They're supposed to be in this thing forever, and they could do it in 25 years if they wanted to. Because they're going to be selected at random. They never know when they're all going to...
You said 15 casually. Is that arbitrary or is it 15? Okay.
Arbitrary.
Okay, so...
They both switches are off at the beginning?
And they can only flip one.
Yeah. I think they have to...
They must flip one.
They must flip one.
Exactly one.
Oh, then they must. I think they must flip at least one.
Ah.
Do you know the solution?
I do know the solution. I think there's probably multiple solutions, but I know a solution.
But it doesn't matter how many people. At the end.
No, it doesn't matter how many people.
You can use the same method.
Yeah.
So it's gotta. I think there's gotta be an element where your behavior changes depending on if it's the first time you've gone or
Is that,
a
like,
subsequent time that you've
a
gone.
third thing.
And did you say that? Wait. So he's gonna pick. Do we know the interval?
Once a month, he's gonna pick
So
somebody.
once
at
a
random.
month. So if
At
there's
random.
15 people, then it'll be at least 15 months. Say.
Sure.
Like that's a fixed. That's another thing that we know is what the interval is.
Yeah, yeah.
But it could be, you could pick the same person 15 times.
Yeah.
Right, but I still feel like it's important. Maybe it's not, but I still feel like it is.
Oh, well, we ran out of time.
For what?
We have 1 minute to figure out this plan that's gonna...
Yep, we're doomed. Did he sleep deprive the prisoners first?
I don't know. Oh, here's
so here's my thinking, and I don't know the answer, but I'm guessing so it has something to do with your behavior. If you've been picked the first time or picked subsequent times,
Yeah.
and then it's got to have something to do with whether the switches are in the same position or different positions.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's your first time, you flip the left. If it's your subsequent time, you flip the right. And then the person that goes the next would reset the right.
You got 4 states, plus you know...
So that if the right one is on, then
Do they have like an
someone's
on and
already
off?
been.
They're up and down.
Okay, so how about this?
It's like and or basically just a conditional, right? So like if the left one is on and the right one is off, it's your first time. If the right one is on and the left one is down, then you've already gone. And then if the person that comes in for the first time would set the right one back down, and they would be both off.
But they
It
can't
works
communicate
for
with
any
each other.
number-
So
That's
they,
it. There's only 4 combinations.
And there's
But
any
they can
number
be
of
any.
prisoners. Are you sure there's any number of prisoners? Like that it could work with 1 million prisoners?
it could work with 1 million prisoners.
What about 2? What about a single prisoner?
And it could work with a single prisoner. Very easily.
I know my strategy for a single prisoner.
Okay.
After
Now
I
adapt that to two prisoners.
Can they share thoughts?
No. It's kind of dumb, the answer. You guys are close. You're just missing one main element.
The right answer. I don't know. I guess the only thing that does make sense to me is how do you figure it out when the last person goes. And I can figure out whether you've been there before or not. But
Yeah.
there's no way to communicate to the next person.
So I think
Except the
you're-
state that you
you're
leave the
taking
switches
a
in.
piece out of the puzzle.
What is it?
When he takes the prisoners into the room for the first time, they're in opposite positions. So,
Hmm?
yeah, it says
That doesn't matter for my thing, for what I'm saying.
So you just like put a mark on the wall. Like each prisoner draws something on the wall. Flips the switch and draws a mark on the wall.
That it might matter for a different solution, but for the solution I have, it doesn't matter.
Can you give it to us? Unless anybody else
I
is
want to
really
keep thinking about it.
Can they
I
draw
guess
the
we got
wall?
time.
No, they can't draw on the wall. This is prison, you go to a hole for that.
What about scratch something on a rock?
This isn't a movie, dude. This is real life.
It's a theoretical puzzle.
My solution, the solution that I know that they said on Car Talk, might be like one of the dumbest ones. There might be like a better mathematical way to do this, but my way would take a long time.
Who the heck am I?
Well, I think you have. It has to be something where 15 months in a row the switches have to remain in the same position, and that's how you know that everyone's been there.
But if you have to switch or you can switch.
So, but the
You
way you
have-
get around that
you
is you do a relative position. Switches are pointing the same way, or they're pointing a different way. Then you have 2 states instead of 4. You have to switch at least one. Yeah.
I mean, you have to signal the last person. That's the thing.
Well, to do that, you have to signal the person before the last person.
Yeah.
To know that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's it, Dan. If you're when the thing starts out, they're both off. So if you've
They're in opposite positions, she says. That let's just do it
Okay.
that way.
so they're in
Oh, that makes it easier. We know that.
Yeah.
So you walk in, they're in opposite positions. That indicates that no one.
It's very long.
No, if they're in the same position, it indicates that
Wait a minute,
the
wait a
person
minute, wait a
before you has.
But the last person that goes has to know that everyone
Okay,
else is
okay,
going.
okay. If it's your first time in, so if they're in opposite positions, if it's your first time in and they're in opposite positions, you change them to no.
Oh, hang on. Because I think, what if it's odd? If there's an odd number of people and so they start in opposite positions, you can figure it out based on whether it's either opposite or.
Yeah, we don't know if it's 13 or 15.
It
You
shouldn't.
can't count through them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But at least you. Yeah, so you.
Donations from Luigi.
I have a feeling when Jed tells us, we're gonna be like, "That's cheap."
Yeah, it might be.
Alright.
It's not that like you're like right there.
I mean, all we need to know.
You just
is-
need one element.
The switches don't do anything; they're just indicators.
Oh yeah, no. A light comes on and
Oh.
lights up. No, there's not. The switches don't do it.
And then you can leave a message for the next person.
Unscrew the light bulb. Let's think of it. 1, 0.
It doesn't make sense because it's all compartmentalized information, right?
Yeah.
So like,
So all you have to do, you have to indicate the state of
Of you and everyone who went before you
yeah.
in 2 bits.
So on your first time, you need to leave them in the same you need to always leave them in some like odd state, like they're if it's your first time through, you have to leave them in a state that indicates that you haven't been there before. But the second time through, if it's random and you could show up. I don't know. I feel like this problem's flawed.
So what's getting me is if it works for any number of prisoners.
Is it?
See, this is what's tricky because if it works for any number of prisoners. So let's.
That's not what it is.
Then it's got to work in the situation where you have say 15 prisoners,
Well, the prisoner-
and the warden, not being a nice guy, just picks 14 for the longest time. So you have to know that 15th person just doesn't go. But it has the behavior of the switches then has to be somehow distinct from the situation where you have
I think
14 prisoners to begin with.
I've got
And the
a-
warden does the same selections, like the 15th is over there.
I think I know. Like, I could do it if the prisoners each only got selected once. Like, you knew once you got picked, they were going to cycle through everyone.
Yeah, then you just wait 15
in a
minutes.
random order. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. I mean, you can
And you can
assign-
obviously go. You don't have to tell them immediately. You can wait
Sure.
if that's what you need.
Hey,
to
it's
be
a pretty
certain.
nice prison.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Food's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Food's okay. I mean, it's still prison. I mean, they've got sushi, but it's like non-ahi.
Yeah.
Would you like to hear my solution?
I'm ready for it. I don't know if Brian is.
Sure, whatever. I'm going to be upset when I hear it, though.
All right, you're real close. It's okay. So the first guy gets selected, and they agree that on the first time that you go in there, you just make sure that the right switch is up. First time you go in, the right switch is up. So if you go into the room.
I think the key is getting all 15 people
This is-
selected in order. You need to.
Well, this is what you do. Each time you go into the room for the first time, you put the right switch up, and then you assign one of the prisoners. This is the key that you were missing. You assign one of the prisoners to be the counter. So if he goes into the room and the right switch is up, he puts it down and says, "There's one," and then he leaves. And if you go into the room and the right switch is up, you flip the other switch just as a throw-off move. And leave it up for the counter. If you go in and the switch is down and it's your first time, you flip it up.
So only one person.
So only one person will be the counter, and when that one person has counted to 14, he says, "We've all done it."
Oh.
So you just
Dana, want to come over here and tell us what you think?
The answer, they counted it twice, but it was the same theory. That the counter had to go to 23 prisoners, and they counted to 44.
why did they count to 44?
It was a massively long answer.
Your answer
Yeah.
makes sense though.
But
Yeah, it would take a long time, right? Because,
You need
because you'd need the counter to go.
at least the number of times as there were prisoners.
Yeah.
So at
Random.
least 15 times, yeah.
So he has
Yeah.
to randomly be selected 15
It would take forever.
And he has to be randomly selected 15 times
after.
for each other prisoner.
Yeah.
Because it. Yeah. So what if it's your first time and the right switch is up, you leave it up and you don't count it as your first time. You have to go again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would take a long time.
So basically, you have to get the order of each prisoner, then the counter, and then everyone else is a dummy. If it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Man, can you imagine the anticipation? You get drawn, you're walking down there, God dang it, the switch is up. And you get to do nothing.
Yeah.
No closer, yeah. This warden should really do it like every 5 minutes I'm going to take a prisoner back. It'd be much quicker that way.
Yeah.
We're going to split you into groups of 3. Every 5 minutes I'm going to take a prisoner back. We'll get you back out on the streets.
What kind of prisoners did they take that are going to figure this out? With no communication.
Well, you have the 5 minutes. You have to have heard this before, basically. It'd be like, okay, I listened to Car Talk. This is how we're
I
gonna
know
do
this one.
And we have to-
I got this.
And we have
All
to
right, I'll be the counter.
everybody else just do this.
I kept thinking of the prisoners as being completely interchangeable.
Yeah,
Like-
you have to assign one special
Yeah.
one. Yeah. There's no way to know just by the switches being up and down.
Yeah, that gets you another.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point because It's never more than 2 bits of information.
Because, no matter what, like, if you don't know, if there's not a counter, like, it doesn't matter what the switches are. Because you don't know, like, you have no idea what has happened before you got in that room.
Well, you would theoretically know the number of picks the warden made,
Yeah.
which is information, but I don't think it's that useful.
Yeah.
Who would know this?
Well, us.
You would know the number of picks that the warden made because it's been 2 months. 2 people have
Oh,
gone.
Yeah.
But you only care about unique people.
Yeah.
The only thing that really tells you is when
Can you make a shiv out of the switch?
And
Take
stab
out the warden?
I guess you know the number of picks the warden has made, and the number of prisoners that there are.
Alright, what's the next brain teaser? What's that say? It's like 1.3.
Oh yeah, 100,000 million billion. Yeah, no, like 1.3 times 10 to the 15 or something. See, so even for 5 minutes with 15 prisoners, it wouldn't be. Why I'm saying groups of 3.
But it'd give you hope.
These are okay. They're not humans. They're
Robot prisoners.
yeah, robot prisoners. They live forever.
I think giving them 5 minutes is far too long. If they're robots, they should get this quickly.
Um.
Seriously?
What was it that I was reading? I'm reading all these science fiction books, and I really like. They mentioned something about like it takes so long to get between stars, but they were like, but for a being that lives for like 100,000 years, like an interstellar trip might just present a challenge of boredom. If you have like a really long lifespan, like 1,000 years is like that would be rough. But you live for 100,000 years. Do you think humans would be better at dealing with boredom if we lived for 1,000 years?
Maybe, probably.
Like, would a year seem like less time?
Probably, I don't know.
We're getting kind of outside the math puzzles here.
Yeah. Isn't that the point?
Okay.
A lot of comic books on the dining room table at my parents' house right now. I took all the really expensive ones and laid them in a messy pile on the corner of the dining room table. And then I put all the ones that aren't expensive back into the boxes for some reason. Probably should have done that the opposite.
There's something I was reading about, like the probability of there being intelligent life, or maybe any kind of life. I think it was intelligent life in somewhere else in our galaxy. And there are all these estimations that people do to figure it out, and there's like so many stars.
100 billion.
And like stars have so many planets. Like, is 100 billion like in the universe, in the galaxy?
No, there's 100 billion.
galaxy.
Yeah,
Okay,
100
and
billion
there's,
stars,
like,
100
billions
billion
of
galaxies.
Yeah, so it's like
And each star has 100 billion planets.
That we can.
that's hard.
We can see, but we can. We got 100 billion stars, 100 billion galaxies, and then what happens after that? And that's just the ones that we can see.
Well, that's all.
Like-
Practically, like,
That's the ones that we even have the ability to see.
yeah. Which, if there's anything that we don't that is farther away than that, like the question, it doesn't make sense to ask whether like there's no way ever it could impact us. Like
And
It's
really, it's not
immaterial.
going to impact us either way.
yeah, but I mean like you can't even observe it. Like it's completely irrelevant.
Anyway,
It's
it was,
unknowable.
It's not irrelevant to them.
I was like, the odds of there being life on some other planet in our galaxy was like 1.
Oh, Bobby.
Like it was like really high.
As usual.
Or the number of planets in our galaxy that have life was like 20. And then they made
It's
some,
gonna be easy though.
or not, then they made some kind of like adjustment to that, and they're like, no, we totally overestimated it. It's like 3.
We don't have to have all this sorrow.
But then there's like 100 billion galaxies. So even if it's 3,
So how many stars do we have on?
we got 7 more.
We have Rainbow Road left to do.
We're going to the big house. To the sky.
Yeah, that would be. I like our idea for a science fiction novel.
What's that?
The big crunch starts happening, and all of a sudden we can travel between.
Oh, yeah.
100 coins.
I like this game, but I don't think I ever want to play it in one sitting again.
I had no idea.
It's not so good.
You did it on
but
purpose because
it's,
I totally
it's
did
kind
it
of
the
based
teacher.
around
I was
Let's see.
choosing between.
you know.
Joe McGraw is up late watching
change
Mario Marathon with
thing.
some deep conversations.
And
Good
see where it
stuff.
takes us.
That's
It's like if there's 3 regulars going to a bar. Everyone buys a drink for $10
Got
each.
others.
Read that quick.
3 regulars go to a bar. Everyone buys a drink for $10
Yeah.
each. No one else enter anything in the chat.
Classic
Oh, it's too late.
Controller. We're gonna give him the classic.
Copy paste
controller.
that. Copy paste that, and nobody chat for a second. We want to read this thing.
Hey, Dan.
We got your classic controller.
Yeah, thank you.
2 perspectives.
A little bit late, guys.
This is not a controller.
I got your classic controller
The
right here.
controller's in another basement.
Anybody copy paste that thing.
I don't know if the people in the chat real. Okay.
Okay, don't move. 3 regulars go to a bar. Everyone buys drinks for $10 each. They want to pay and get the waiter. Each gives him $10, so the waiter brings 30 to his manager. The manager says, "These are good regulars. I grant them a discount," and gives the waiter $5 back to give to them. The waiter
Thanks. Wait, I cannot divide.
The waiter thinks,
It's a
"I
different
cannot
person now.
divide into 3 equal parts," and keeps 2 for himself and gives every one of the customers $1 back.
That's not a break either.
Yeah, that waiter just said,
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I've heard a variation of this one before, actually.
Hey, Bobby, why'd you let me do this?
I should have brought my GameCube, and then someone in the background could be doing Mario Dance Dance Revolution.
I have that game upstairs. We should get it out.
There's a Wii down there. We can probably.
It was on the GameCube.
The
and
Wii
you have
will
to have
play.
the
will play.
pad.
Oh.
There's a part B.
Well, Brian has the pad upstairs. If you just brought the game, we totally could have got that going.
I have the game too.
Oh, he has the game too.
Why would I have the pad without the game? That'd be
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it's the only game that goes with that controller that I'm aware of.
We did play Mario on the
Yeah, we
game
played
pad.
a lot of things on
Ba-ba-ba,
obnoxious
ba-ba-ba.
devices.
Hey, by the way, if anybody's trying to communicate with me, my phone died, so.
You want me to charge
It's
it?
almost 2 a.m.
I don't want you to charge it.
Here.
You want to play? Is that what you're saying?
I already told them that they can't communicate
Can
with
you
me.
one-shot this for me?
There's a million plugs on that table.
I know.
Each
If
of
you
the
guys
customers
can't
is paid
so far
$9.
If my phone isn't working, it's because of a tornado.
There's also
The weather is crazy out there.
Is it really?
No.
like it's foggy.
It's foggy.
Not like
Oh, is it foggy? I like fog.
by the way, any report to tornado before we hear it all.
Somebody else was like, it looked like maybe like West Virginia.
Man, there's something like maybe way down south in Indiana.
Way down south. Where the hills are? The Who's? You missed the brain teasers, man.